What's up, you guys, and welcome to another special video. And this video is very special because I want to talk about my favorite radio station moments, because as many of you know, I've been working in radio for about like 3 years now. I used to work for Alt 1019 in 2017. I was doing the morning show for that whole entire year. Then I went over to Pure Rock Radio, which you can listen to online, by the way. So I've been doing a night show on Pure Rock Radio, but it's not been an every night thing. But throughout my whole radio station career, I've gotten the opportunities to interview so many amazing bands and artists and so many cool, unique, talented people as well. So I thought it'd be pretty fun to make a video talking about it. And so yeah, let's do it. I might have to make 2 parts of this whole series because I have so many amazing moments. Yeah, so we might do that. But yeah, so let's get started, shall we? So the very first moment I want to talk about was actually back in 2017 when I was working for 1019 here in Utah. And to start off this video, I want to talk about the time the band The Struts came through. The Struts lead singer, his name is Luke Spiller. He is such an awesome guy. The Struts came through one day to play like a little mini show for the radio station. But the funny thing about it is that they actually stayed at the station, like just kicking it in the conference room at the time. They stayed for at least like 3 hours. I'm not even kidding. And what's even more funny is like at this time we ordered tons of like Chick-fil-A food just for just for the station to have. And I remember this band stole all the food. I'm not even kidding. And they brought it into the conference room and they were like playing their guitars and singing songs for like hours. I remember walking in there and talking to Luke Spiller and also Jed, and we were just having a good time about it. I just thought it was so funny that like here's this band, they're just kicking at the radio station inside the conference room where we had our meetings, and they're just eating the food away. I'm gonna add some pictures that I have from that moment right here. And I just gotta say, that's probably one of my favorite moments, working at the radio station, and especially when I was working for Alt 119. All right, so my next favorite moment is also when I was working for Alt 119, and this is when the band Judah and the Lion came through. This was back in 2017 as well, and at the time, Judah and the Lion had this hit song called Take It All Back. It was all over the radio stations. I swear, you couldn't go anywhere without this song playing on the air. Anyways, I remember kicking it with Judah and the Lion. They were such awesome guys, and I remember, they played a few songs for us, but I remember talking to Judah from the band. We were outside, and we talked about life. I remember I even gave him like one of my bracelets that said, "You're my world." I remember I even gave him one of my bracelets that said, "You're my world" at the time. And they were awesome. And then I remember seeing them at the iHeartRadio Festival in Vegas a few months later. And they had an amazing show. And they're just awesome guys. I honestly don't know what Judah and the Lion is up to nowadays. I think they're still making music. Last I heard is that they turned their whole band into like a country band, which is kind of cool. And I haven't listened to any of their like recent stuff in the last 2 years. But I think they have a new album out this year, if I'm correct. Yeah, so shout out to Judah and the Lion. That was one of my favorite moments at 1019 specifically. All right, so for this next moment I want to talk about is the time I interviewed the band CKY. This was actually my very first like professional in-person interview that I've ever done. But I remember being super nervous. Like I was at the radio station telling some of my coworkers how nervous and excited I was to do this interview. This interview was at the Depot here in Salt Lake City. I remember walking in and I sat down with all of them, and Jess Margera, the drummer of Bam Margera, he was the funniest out of all of them. I remember asking him this question about like, what was your favorite like memories here in Utah? And Jess Margera straight up looked at me and he was like, "I don't know, dude. It was all just been a blur to me." And I was laughing so hard at this. CKY, as many of you know, is a childhood band of mine. So to be able to interview them for my radio station was just so amazing, and it's something I'll never forget. They are still making music, and I also mentioned them in my top Warped Tour bands video that I released back like in March, I think. You should definitely go check out their new music. They're still killing it, but that was one of my favorite moments. I also want to give a big shout out to CKY's team of people. They're all just amazing people, and I had the best time of my life. This next moment I want to talk about actually wasn't an interview, but it was like a moment that I had on the morning show with Fook and Lindsay. One morning, Fook decided to bring like a pole inside the room. It wasn't like a stripper pole, but it was just a regular pole you can dance on. And Fook challenged me to try out this pole. He also had a professional dancer come in and like show us like just amazing moves on the pole. But I remember we brought in this pole, and like Fook like literally put the pole in and jabbed it up in the ceiling. And I remember watching that ceiling in our studio totally just break off. And I was just like, whoa. I tried out this pole live on the air. I was like literally getting really good at it. I was thinking maybe I have a new career. No, but for real, it's like I had like a great time this morning. Like it was like really fun, to be honest. And that's probably one of my favorite moments, because who would ever thought like a radio show would bring a pole inside their studio live on the air. I'm gonna try to put all the footage I have from that, because we live streamed it at the time. It's gonna be like in this corner somewhere, and that's one of my favorite moments as well. All right, since I mentioned Warped Tour earlier, I think it's only appropriate that I talk about the time I worked for Warped Tour because of the radio station. So while I've been working at Pure Rock Radio, back in like 2018, I got invited to do press for Warped Tour, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. As you can imagine, I interviewed so many bands and so many amazing, just unique people in general. And to be able to be a part of Vans Warped Tour was actually a dream come true for me, because I've always wanted to be on Warped Tour. And so I want to say a huge thank you to Kevin Lyman for having me, because it was just so special for me. Some of my favorite memories from working on Warped Tour is when I met Kosha Dills, who's now one of my best friends. So shout out to Kosha real quick. Other favorite memories is when I interviewed the band called The Rolled Over. They're up and coming. Kicking it with Ronnie Radke and Falling in Verse backstage was an amazing time. A Mayday Parade, they're awesome guys. This Wildlife was awesome to kick it with, and all the other bands I met. I remember being backstage for 303, and that was so lit. 303 has such a unique stage presence. And so to be backstage, like almost on stage with them, was so crazy to see the crowd get so hyped to them. You know what I'm saying? I had the best times at Warped Tour, and I want to get like a forever Warped tattoo because of this. Because not many can say they're on Warped Tour somehow or some way. So I definitely want to get a tattoo that says Forever Warped in like cool handwriting, you know? But I gotta say, that's actually one of my favorite special moments that radio has really got me into. It's one of those moments I'll never forget. I can't be thankful enough for it. This next moment I want to talk about is actually the time I got to interview Don Felder. For those that don't know who Don Felder is, he's actually a legendary like songwriter in the rock history. He's one of the original band members from the band The Eagles. He wrote hits like Life in the Fast Lane and Hotel California. So to be able to talk to him about all the amazing experiences he's had, you know, just touring the world, and to be able to write some of the most legendary songs of all time was quite something for me. And this is definitely an interview that I'll never forget. That being said, I'm gonna try to re-upload this interview somewhere when I like announce my podcast that's coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But Don Felder is such an awesome guy, and at the time I was only 19 or 20, and so he came to Utah for a show, and I was unable to go to the show because it's 21 and up. But I still had an amazing time getting to interview him, and that's something that I'll never forget. Another interview that I'll never forget that I got to be able to do is with the time I got to interview Ryan Key from Yellow Card. I did this for Pure Rock Radio, and this interview was actually very special because we talked about a lot of like almost like personal life stuff, if that makes any sense. The moment that really got to me when I interviewed Ryan Key was when we talked about Chester Bennington and his memories with Chester Bennington. Chester Bennington was one of my favorite singers, and I loved Linkin Park growing up as a kid. I also clearly loved Yellow Card growing up, as I've seen Yellow Card many, many times live before. So to interview Ryan Key and sit down with him was just so special to me, and it's probably one of my top 5 interviews I've ever done. Like I said, I'm gonna announce a podcast pretty soon, so I'll have that interview out as well, but it was very, very special to me. And it's a night I'll never forget. So I wanted to mention like all the times I got to go review movies for the radio station, and like, you know, things like the state fair, like the shirtless car wash we did to raise money. All those things are things that I'll never forget working in radio. Radio to me has always been very special because it's given me opportunities that a lot of people don't have in life. And I also met so many unique connections from it. I am so grateful for these opportunities. Working for radio also gave me that experience of going out and meeting like all you guys, all you that support me. I met so many of you at events because of radio, and I couldn't be even more blessed for that as well. Anyways, that's just gonna be part 1 for this video. I really just wanted to keep this video kind of under 10 minutes. But I'm gonna make a part 2 talking about all this stuff because these are things that nobody really knows about because I never really talked about it. Many of you know that I worked for radio, but a lot of these experiences I never really opened up about. So I think it's a great time to do that, especially for my YouTube channel. Anyways, I wanna say thank you so much for all your love and support. It really means so much to me. You guys mean so much to me. Please be kind to each other. Please spread love. You guys mean so much to me, and I can't thank you all enough for your support. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna have more videos coming soon now. Also, I'm gonna bring back weekly freestyles because that's something a lot of you have been requesting. So we're gonna do that again. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, I wanna say thank you so much for watching this as always. It means so much to me. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.